Hey there, I want your help with something. It's probably the most left field sounding idea you've ever heard to cleaning up our waterways and giving us an incredible environment we deserve. And yet, I'm going to show you why it's also the most likely to succeed. Years ago, I was on a plane and I saw this documentary about the impact of the gold industry. And there was this tribe living downstream of a gold mine which had been poisoned by mercury. And they had no other food source but to eat the fish from that river. Now, if you'd gone in there and told them, stop eating fish, they would have gone, we have to. We'll die if we don't. And New Zealand right now, unfortunately, is in that position where our number 1 and 2 exporters are like mercury poisoned fish in terms of the impact they have on our body, which is the environment, tourism, and dairy. Now, I've got nothing against these industries, but no one would deny the massive environmental legacy they leave. So what's the solution? Well, we can try and stop us poisoning the environment as much. That's just like taking a little bit of mercury out of the fish. We can have fewer cows or fewer tourists. That's just like eating less fish. You just end up hungry. Neither of these methods is a way to actually get fed and thrive at the same time. So what do you need to do? Well, imagine if there was this forest right next to the river, like a miniature Garden of Eden, and it had all this promise, except it wasn't yet ready. It didn't have enough berries, enough fruit to be able to sustain a whole tribe. Well, what if we found a way to grow it really fast? So we didn't have to eat that poison fish. We could just go into the Garden of Eden. Well, I believe we already have that Garden of Eden. It's small, it's underdeveloped, but it's our number 3 exporter, and that's technology. And the real solution is not to tidy up the mercury poisoned fish, but to grow our new garden. So we can have a food source which is great for us, great for the environment, great for the body at the same time. So how do we do that? Well, not the way we've tried to do it to date, that's for sure. Globally, we have actually been failing technology entrepreneurs en masse. Why? Because people in the sector think about the technology and the hard stuff, not the people and the soft skills. A high-tech company is like having this high-performance motorcycle. I know, I used to ride one and I used to be in high-tech companies. And you have all this power in this high-performance motorcycle, and yet without a great rider, it's a death machine. And all the incubators, accelerators, mentors, boards, advisory systems, all this and that has all been to optimize the performance of the bike, not the person riding it. And that's why 9 times out of 10, that person crashes. We have been failing the riders of these companies for decades globally, and this must stop. It causes massive attrition. It's a waste of human potential. It devastates the economy. And it means that great technologies that could be good for the world never see the light of day. Not because the bike wasn't powerful, because the rider didn't know how to control it at speed. I have a program which trains the rider of these bikes so they don't crash. They get great lap times. They don't get pulled off the track and replaced. And I call it Exponential Founders. And it's done things which are impossible. 100% of the people in that program have raised first round capital, have raised second round capital. They are all exponentially growing the revenues of the company. They are all successfully going through each stage of growing pains. They are all becoming or have become great leaders, and they all get home in time for dinner each night. Stuff the industry myths tell you are impossible. Well, it is impossible if you put novice riders on fast death machines and don't show them how to do it. When you do, and you do it properly, it unleashes the potential of that bike. Now, this is important because we don't need to do this with many companies I've done the sums, in order to make technology our number 1 export earner, our number 1 source of food. And what that means is we're no longer dependent on dairy and tourism being our number 1 and 2 export earner. And what that means is we get to play in the Garden of Eden. not the mercury poisoned river. This, I believe, is the way that we're going to avoid the diabolical choice that we currently face between economic success and environmental catastrophe. And what you can do to help is, if you know technology founders, science founders, people out there, smart people who are innovators, who've done great things, but no one's helping them as a rider with the comprehensive and the unique set of skills you need to ride that beast they've created, put them in touch with me. This is what I specialize. We'll make sure they don't crash. They'll get great lap times. And they'll do something which actually contributes to a New Zealand that we can all be proud of. Prosperous and clean.